commissioners recently had a meeting where they were talking about temporarily lowering some fees. That's great. They could also temporarily go higher. And the reason that they could, as Simon Hare pointed out, you know, if we declare these fees as temporary, we could raise or lower them without the need for a public hearing for as long as a year. Let's think about what that means. The citizens voted not that long ago to want to have more control over what was happening with their fees. Now, their own elected legal counsel went to court against them, and they didn't get what they voted on. That's nice. Then they thought, well, the charter protects us because we'll have some control over the fees. No, not anymore, because there's a new theory among the county commissioners, these 3 county commissioners, that all they need to do is declare a fee as temporary, and they can raise it or lower it for as much as a year without any kind of public hearing.
The board can approve a temporary reduction or a temporary fee until it can go through the fee process. If it's not been addressed previously during the fee process.
My only thought is we could extend this for a temporary thing for a year. It's pretty small and it's a reduction, so not really. I think it's a good thing that we just address it a year from now. Getting it into the schedule.
Right.
Yeah. Because otherwise in June or July we're going to have to do another one of these to do a temporary extension.
Yeah, typically we tie it to the budget. That's just why we looked at the fiscal.
And if we did it mid-year, that's fine. That's all in my record.
Is that okay? 6 months?
Absolutely.
Sure. The big thing is, I want you to know that I don't mind at all being held accountable to my commissioner liaison. I should be held accountable for the decisions that I make for the shelter, which is why I wrote it into the recommendation. So I think this is a good plan.
Yeah, and the idea there's got to be some kind of situation that allows for an increase of all of a sudden instead of
You really think that's what the public had in mind? Do they realize that simply calling it a temporary fee for a whole year, it's a temporary fee? And it can be renewed? That's what we had in mind when we said that we'd like some control over our fees? Now, Keith Eck pointed out, I kind of like the idea that there might be a sudden need for a fee. A sudden need for a fee? Oh, it might even be, some kind of emergency. An emergency fee? Really? This is not in keeping with the charter.
I'm going to say, yeah, so maybe there's elements of the charter that we didn't abide by, but there's also elements of the charter that we absolutely did. So that was my reasoning for approving that temporary fee schedule. The idea of putting it out a year is the idea that we won't necessarily have fees to address in June. And it's an extensive process to go through for just facilitating the adoption of a RET. And I don't know if it merits the $300 or $500 that we're going to have to put in the paper to advertise twice to appropriately go through that process in June. But we will, if necessary, do that when that temporary fee expires.